beard spawn. Hey, you can't take my gun! Dad! I swear, when he shouted Dad, it sounded exactly like when Cartman shouts, Hello friends and welcome back to ReddX, your source for the freshest daily cringe content anywhere on the internet. Promise swearsies, it's just a fact and it's totally science. Go ahead and look it up. We are continuing the Flintlockbeard saga today. If you missed the previous parts, those links in the description. Let's get into it. Flintlockbeard Part 3. A beard spawn almost gets someone killed, and Flintlockbeard also goes full racist. He was like only part racist before. It seems like an on or off kind of switch. Maybe that's not true. Regardless, hello everyone out there at ReddX University. Wow, we got a university now? Tuition is probably egregious and I haven't seen any of that money. Hope you're all well. Hope you had a safe St. Patrick's Day. I finally found some time to write, so without further ado, let's get into this storm of a story. St. Patrick's, man, I'm way behind. It's fine. It's fine. So this is the part where things start to get really heavy and really cringy. It's set about 3 weeks after the last part because I was on vacation with family. One last hurrah before I went off to college. Let's recap the cast and introduce a new character. You are going to college at ReddX University, right? I look forward to cashing the check. There's OP. That's OP. All my OG All That fans will get that reference.
That's me!
My favorite All That sketch was Pierre Escargot. Good times. I was 20 at the time, and I had joined a muzzleloader rifle and pistol club for one, and what turned out to be the only summer. 6'4", 280, built a little chubby, but strong. As I ran my own lawn care and firewood/tree removal service, gotta get that hustle back in the late 2000s. I still don't know what we're talking about there. So, I had a fair bit of muscle on me. I had learned my shooting skills mostly from my uncle, but had picked up a few new things via the people of the club that I was with. Naomi, not her real name, 18 years old at the time of this story. And she was my girlfriend at the time. She was the one that I thought I'd spend the rest of my life with, but later on, I would find out that I dodged a bullet in not marrying her. Beautiful, loved video games and art, and was a talented sketch artist, and would draw a lot of anime as well as her own creations. 5'5", about 135 pounds. Never thought she would be beard bait, but this was before neckbeards were widely known for what they truly are. She has a bigger role to play in this, and especially the next part. Club president, you know that guy. A larger, imposing-looking man, but had the heart and demeanor of Mr. Rogers, and a beard like Father Time. He could be authoritative when needed, but because the beard of this saga was his wife's brother, he didn't do as much as he should have to keep him on a short leash. He was probably the best shot in the club, despite what Flintlockbeard would tell you. I learned some good stuff about muzzleloader shooting that I still use to this day. Cheryl, not her real name, she was mentioned and had a small part in the previous part of this story. She too had a larger role in this next part. She was short and had a quick wit. A nice shot with a rifle, but her skills with a flintlock pistol are what really shined, and in this part I will expound upon that. She too was a target of the beard's attempts at wooing the milady. She shot him down each time, and he didn't like that, so each time it happened, he'd treat her like shit. But he'd come back the next week like nothing had happened, and would try again. Her and I became friends through this experience, and remain friends to this day. 23 at the time, 5'2", with a nice figure, very down to earth. There's also the range safety officer. He didn't say much, but when he did, you listened. Well, most of us listened. Never our beard. He was too knowledgeable in the ways of the gun to be told anything about safety. He was about 6 foot tall, like 210, built like a brick shithouse, as the description goes. He was in his early 40s, didn't answer to anyone but the club president. He was God when it came to the safety of the shooting range. This cast list is getting a little long, isn't it? I could have inferred what the range safety officer does. Flintlockbeard, the bitch titular star of the story. Hey, I like that a little. He was in his late 30s, but you would swear that he had the mentality and maturity of a 15-year-old who'd just been called out on his BS for the first time ever. He was a big fat dude, about 350 pounds. I know he started this saga out at like 320, but he definitely got bigger, and by what he ate and his lack of exercise, that doesn't really surprise me. So yes, 350 pounds on a 5'8 to 5'10 frame. It's a big boy. He thought he was the best shot in the club. Spoiler alert, he wasn't even close. Fancied himself a superior intellect on all things 18th century, the ways of a gentleman, and could outshoot anyone that he was matched up against. He also smelled like a combination of black powder smoke, stale Doritos and Cheetos, ass crack BO, and rancid beef. Where did rancid beef come from? Still thought that we lived in the 18th century. He loved junk food and Mountain Dew, which didn't exist in the 18th century. He also thought that he wore historically authentic mountain man attire, but it looked horrible. He didn't wear a fedora, however. No, he topped his sweaty, smelly head with a coonskin cap that looked more like the victim of roadkill. Probably it was. He also reveals in this part just how incredibly racist and how much of a conspiracy theorist he was. He thought he was Davy Crockett in shooting skill and Daniel Boone in his attire. Davy Beergut and Daniel Manboob was more like it. I'm curious about the conspiracy theories. I buy into quite a few myself, so I gotta see if we're on the same boat there. Lastly, a new character, Beard Spawn, or BS for short. Yes, my friends, I'm sorry to say that this beard has a kid. And oh boy, what a specimen to behold. He was basically just a smaller and younger version of his dad. He was 9 and already as fat as Cartman. He learned his bad habits from none other than his dad, and no surprise, thought the same way as Flintlockbeard. He is the secondary antagonist of this story. You gonna let yourself get antagonized by a 9-year-old? Can't happen that way, bro. We need to set that kid straight. And he is a kid, so I can't even hate him that much. He was set up for failure. Anyway, long-ass cast list out of the way. Now that the cast list is explained once again, let's get into the story. Like I said in the first 2 parts, this happened 15 years ago. If I can't remember for certain what happened, it doesn't appear in this story. So this is like 88% of a complete saga, as the other 12% has been lost to the sands of time. So if things seem to jump around a little bit, that's why. 88%. Are we dog whistling right now? 74% of statistics are made up on the spot. So like I said, this took place 3 weeks after the events of part number 2. We had now moved to the outdoor range at our complex, allowing for more long-range shooting. I'd just gotten back up from a 3-week vacation with my family, and I was glad to be back home and eager to catch up with my girlfriend and get to some shooting, even if that meant having to interact with the beard. Yeah, welcome back to the girlfriend, way better than shooting into a napkin. Oh, you mean the muzzleloader. Okay, yeah, I get you. I showed up at the range and was told that we were now starting to use the outdoor range by club president. I thought,
great, longer range, 150 to 250 yards, shooting. I can really test myself.
Those ranges seemed short compared to what modern firearms are capable of, but remember, these are weapons using tech that's like 200 to 300 years old, with black powder being around 1,000 years old, so they can only do so much. Sounds like it's time to upgrade. Sell all them muskets, buy yourself a nice AK-47.
Yeah.
It's fun too. I sat down at one of the tables inside the main clubhouse and indoor range. Just then, who should walk up but Flintlockbeard himself? I could smell him before I saw him, but I hoped against hope that I was just imagining things. He must have forgotten that not but 3 weeks earlier, I told him off for trying to hit on my girlfriend because he walked up to me like nothing had happened. So he's trying to renew the social contract. Remind him of what happened. I don't want to speak to you anymore, and this is why. But I understand it's harder to do that when you're young. Flintlockbeard,
Hey, OP, where you been? You missed out on some epic shows of my amazing shooting skills. I even gave a class on the history of America during the Revolutionary War period to the group. And now everyone wants to dress and behave accordingly to what I taught.
Yeah, none of that actually happened. I mean, it's good to have dreams. OP says,
Yeah, that's great. I was not interested in this. Coming from him. So, did you forget what happened like 3 weeks ago? I basically told you to stay away from me and my girlfriend. I'm not interested in interacting with you more than is necessary.
Now, I had done a lot of thinking on that vacation. I thought about how if I didn't make some changes, I was going to be pushed around and taken advantage of by my generally laid-back, win-'em-over-with-kindness approach to pleasing people. Kindness never works. Only power. That is what people understand. I'll extend to you some common courtesy, but kindness? Nah, that ain't for me. That's reserved for family only. OP says, well, I figured that this would be the perfect time to try out my new approach. Don't let people who have treated me like shit push me around. Better late than never. Flintlockbeard.
Well, you should take what I say as facts. I know a lot more than you do, and I've been in this club for longer than you have. I have more pull around here than you think, and it can be made extremely difficult for you to remain here should you piss me off. If you are wise, then you will not bring about my wrath down on your head.
Dude, you're the one doing all the pulling in the bathroom, am I right? Bringing all the wrath down on your own head with your swollen glands. OP says,
Oh, is that a fact now?
Flintlockbeard,
Most assuredly it is. As factual as we kick the asses of the British in our fight for independence.
oh, that's a deep cut. Not a lot of people know about that part of history. What a loser. I didn't say anything to this, and I just chose to walk away. That first try didn't go the way that I thought it would. Yeah, but that's when it's time to double down. Let them know that you're seriously serious for reals. Had it not been for the fact that I had a feeling that as much as our club president wanted him gone, it would have been more of a headache on his part, since Flintlockbeard was his brother-in-law, then I definitely would have been more assertive, so that was my main gripe with club president. Other than that, he was a good dude. At least I thought so at the time, but we'll get into that a bit later. You know what they say, OP, birds of a feather. Flintlockbeard had left to go somewhere. I didn't really care where, as long as he was out of my hair. I picked my gear up and started to make my way outside. I had also brought my flintlock pistol with me this week, since we would also be shooting pistols. A rifle barrel 45 caliber flintlock pistol with both a front and rear sight. It's an accurate gun, even for being a pistol, and I still have it. It was at this time that Cheryl had come up to me, and I decided to sit back down. She sat down as well. Cheryl, excited and relieved to see me. Hey, OP, where have you been? We missed you around here. It was nice to have you and Hank be a buffer between Flintlockbeard and myself. Yeah, what happened to Hank? You went to sell some propane and propane accessories?
I provide the people of this community with propane and propane accessories.
OP says,
Oh, yeah. I was on vacation with my family. I went on a tour of Civil War battlefields and some Revolutionary War battlefields as well. If you haven't caught on by now, I'm a student of history. How have things been here?
Cheryl, they've been okay. Okay, but very weird and kind of creepy. Flintlockbeard keeps trying to hit on me, saying stuff like,
I can make you the happiest maiden in all of the colonies.
Yes, he said that. What? Does this work? He has reproduced. I have to assume it has worked at least once. Do recall that Flintlockbeard believed that we were in the 18th century from time to time, and also thought that a woman belonged in the home, cooking and producing little beardlets for him.
And I will give you children to bear, and we will grow to be the happiest and most prosperous couple in all the land.
Yep, He's a weird dude. You should shoot him through the stomach, just accidentally on purpose, you know? OP says,
Wait, what? He actually said those things? Does he not know that we live in the 21st century? There's something really off about that dude. He just threatened me to basically stay in line and out of my way. That should be easy enough. All I'd have to do is walk briskly and he would lose the trail after a couple of minutes.
Cheryl snort laughing. Yeah, I'm sure that's true. Anyway, I'm glad you're back. Hank isn't here this week. He got called away for work and had to travel out of state, and he won't be back for a few weeks. Please don't leave me alone with Flintlockbeard. He creeps me out. I feel like my ability to tell him off is becoming weaker. OP says,
I will try my best. I thought you were able to handle yourself. You've got a sharp wit, and last time I saw you, you seemed to tell him off for good. But I guess things have gotten serious? Don't worry. I won't leave you alone with him if I can help it.
Cheryl, thanks, OP. So, I don't know if you heard or not, but we're not only doing the outdoor range, but we're also doing pistols this week. So, it should be fun. You want to see my pistol? Now, at the time, I was a huge Family Guy fan, especially that of Quagmire. I said in my head, giggity, but my mouth said, yeah, sure, whip it out. Couldn't help myself. I was 20. What do you want from me? Are you angling on this girl while you have a girlfriend? I mean, I understand being 20, but I also understand having, like, some sense of scruples. I'm gonna need you to reel that back in, OP. Thank you so much. I was really surprised by her pistol. It was beautiful. A .62 caliber flintlock pistol styled after something you'd see in Pennsylvania right around the time of the Revolution. It even had a gold inlay on the barrel with her real name on it, which made it even more sentimental to her, as her grandfather had done it for her right before he died. It was then that who else should come back over to us and ruin the mood and the oxygen supply around us with his BO stank? Why, it was none other than his most esteemed grossness himself, Flintlockbeard! Can't you just box him out? Like, don't worry about his empty threats. If you want to make this club awkward for me, I could make it even more awkward for you. Flintlockbeard did have someone in tow with him, a smaller version of himself, dressed just as badly and gross as he was, and we were confused as to where this kid had come from. Cheryl's body language had changed to stiff and apprehensive. Flintlockbeard,
Hey, OP. Greetings, m'lady. Allow me to introduce my son, Beard Spawn. I'm training him in the ways of being a young gentle, sir. He will soon surpass all of you in skill with the rifle as well, by the rate I'm teaching him.
Poor little bastard, never stood a chance. Beard Spawn bowing like a true 18th century gentleman and then getting stuck on coming back up because this pudgy little cream puff didn't have a core. What the fuck is that? You can't even lift the top half of your body up? Nah, I don't buy it. Who is possibly that weak?
Hello to you, sir, and m'lady.
Oh god, it really is a Beard Spawn.
My name is Beard Spawn. Might I have the pleasure of your names?
Honestly, coming from a 9-year-old kid, you love to see sir and ma'am. Everything else about him, pretty unfortunate, but at least he seems to have good manners within the first sentence. Not wanting to be rude, we both introduced ourselves. Beard Spawn,
Father tells me you're new to our club. Well, I want you both to know that I'm a prodigy in this shooting world, thanks to him. I'm already on course to be better than anyone else here, except for Father, of course.
Bro, I know you came from there, but take your dad's balls out of your mouth for just a minute. Look around at the world for what it really is. Honestly, he's 9 years old. Daddy is still a Superman for at least another 2 or 3 years, and then the veneer starts to crack, and Beard Spawn realizes what his father actually is, starts to make some hard decisions for himself. At least that's how I like to think that it goes. Cheryl and I just looked at each other in disbelief at what we were witnessing. Flintlockbeard,
You see? A trip off the old block. You may go now, my son. Get ready for today's competition, which I know you will win.
like I said, set up for failure. Cheryl, I thought only those over 18 were allowed to compete in this club. Flintlockbeard.
Oh, my delicate flower.
Ew.
My son is not just any child. He will soon take over this club with me. He needs to be groomed in the ways of a proper gentleman and a superior marksman. I'm confident that he'll beat both of you out there today. Just you wait.
You're weird and stupid and ugly, and so's your kid. Get the fuck out of my face. You might be surprised to learn that I don't base all of my validation on how good I can shoot a defunct old weapon. Is this all you have in your life, Flintlockbeard? It is, isn't it? God, that's sad. You're pathetic. You're pathetic, and nothing that you do will ever change that. I'm sorry to say. Actually, I'm not sorry to say. But instead of all that, OP says,
Not to rag on your kid, but I think you're doing him a disservice. This is supposed to be a fun and supportive group of shooters who enjoy this kind of stuff. He just comes off like a spoiled little child who is too big for his britches.
Flintlockbeard.
You mind your tongue, OP. He will show all of you just what a true, once-in-a-generation talent looks like. He knows how great he is, and he's right to let all of you know it.
You should probably just let him know with his actions instead of his words. You know he's just gonna go out there and embarrass himself, right? Foot, meat, mouth. Then, out of seemingly nowhere, Flintlockbeard changed the subject. Flintlockbeard.
So anyways, you guys see this Obama dude? He said he was gonna take all our guns away if he gets the chance, in the name of safety. That monkey better watch out if he gets elected.
Oh god, dude. Can we say that?
I'm sorry,
He didn't really just say what I think he said.
I'm not even gonna touch this one with a 10-foot pole. OP.
Oh my good god, dude. What the hell is wrong with you? I doubt very seriously he will get anywhere close to that. And also, why the hell are you bringing racial slurs into this? Not cool, man.
Is it a racial slur? Clerks 2 told me it wasn't. Cheryl says, yeah man, what the hell? Even if he does get elected, it doesn't mean he'll come for our guns. Why don't you take that racist crap elsewhere? Like, back to your stink nest. At this point, Flintlockbeard gets flustered and says,
Meh, screw both of you. You young bucks don't know anything. You'll probably end up voting for that boo.
Jesus Christ, dude. Well, demonetization, here it comes.
And when he gets in, he's coming for all of our guns, even the ones we possess here today. It's all part of the Democrat satanic plot to destroy this country and enslave us.
You think that's just a Democrat plot? I'm pretty sure both sides are working in tandem. But whatever makes you feel safer, I suppose. And again, I refuse to turn this into a racial thing. It is the haves versus the have-nots. Now, this was back in 2008. Obama had just come onto the scene, seemingly out of nowhere, and nobody found that, like, the least bit sus. They're like, this guy's been shoved down our throat. Sure, we'll vote for him. I fell into it, too. At least the first time around. I didn't vote for that fucker the second time around. I voted for Ron Paul in 2012. And I learned that that's all a lie, too. Now I don't participate. Now, I didn't like Obama either, but as a rule, I don't like pretty much any politician. I don't trust him at all. Good way to go through life, honestly. For context, I am a conservative. I believe in small government and the need to do away with wasteful spending and bureaucracy. I also believe that both parties suck, are in on it together in making sure that they can get away with everything, and that government sooner or later will screw up everything that they get their hands on. As far as my dislike for Obama goes, I also don't like adults who act like petty spoiled children when they get told no by anyone, which he and pretty much everyone in politics acts like. Oh, you know Obama personally? That's cool. This episode is getting, like, rather incendiary for no reason. I guess Flintlockbeard's the one that brought it up, but I don't mean to go into my own personal politics at all. I'm apolitical, and guess what? I don't even want to talk about it. We all know it's stupid. Moving on. For the rest of the day, Cheryl and I stayed as far away as possible from Flintlockbeard. We stuck together, essentially. We all gathered outside of the first bay of the outdoor shooting range. It was at this time that club president and range safety officer gathered us all around together. There were only 8 of us there that day. Club president,
Everyone, welcome once again. As you can see, we're finally outside. This will open us up to both the pistol range and long-range targets. For today, we will split into 2 groups for 2 different competitions, and everyone will get an opportunity to go through both.
range safety officer in his booming voice.
All right, everyone. Things are different out here on the outdoor range. We gotta make sure that we're extra careful, as this will require people to go out to the targets. So, making sure your guns are empty is vital. When I say range is cold, all guns will be placed on the table in front of you. I'll come by and inspect each one to make sure that they're indeed empty. You then go out to your target and mark your hits.
Club president.
Thank you, safety officer. Here are the competition and the rules. First, for the long-range shooting, we will be doing the Timothy Murphy challenge,
Which I'll explain in a minute.
you have 3 shots to hit in the kill zone, a man-sized silhouette target, all the way out at 250 yards. Not going to lie, this will be testing your skills to the limit. If you don't score a hit in 3 shots, you'll be eliminated from the long-range challenge. The other pistol challenge, you'll be shooting an 8-inch square at 7, 10, and 15 yards. You'll be judged on how close to the bullseye you get and rewarded points accordingly. The shooter with the most points wins. Everyone understand?
Everyone? Yes, sir. So, what's the Timothy Murphy challenge? It's a challenge based on the real Revolutionary War marksman, Timothy Murphy, one of Daniel Morgan's riflemen in the famed Morgan's Rifles Company. The story goes that it took him 3 shots to bring down a high-ranking British officer from a staggering 250 yards away. Quite the feat at the time. The 3rd shot found its mark, killing the officer, and turned the tide of the battle in favor of the Continental Army. Damn, I don't know anything about this. Big ups, Tim Murphy. Hey, thanks for doing that thing you did. Anyway, back to the story. Cheryl and I decided that we would go do the pistols first. Fortunately, Flintlockbeard was doing the long-range shooting, a brief but welcome reprieve. But we always knew when he messed up because we would hear him shouting and cussing and, of course, blaming everyone and everything but himself for his screw-up. He tried to blame the wind, but the wind was barely blowing, 3 miles per hour, if that. One of the colorful things we heard. Flintlockbeard.
God damn it! This competition's stupid. I bet Timothy Murphy's a liar and a braggart who talked up his legend, and this never even fucking happened.
Basically, yeah, saying that Timothy Murphy was a stupid Chad, which he totally was. But not in the bad way like he means it. We couldn't help but laugh at this, and through a twisted turn of fate, it amped both of us up to shoot even better. Cheryl hit all of her shots pretty close to the bullseye and got better at the longer ranges, but I held my own too, and she did better than I did in the end. When she got done, I congratulated her and said, Beard Spawn's up next. Let's see how much his big talk and bragging shows in his shooting. Beard Spawn stepped up to the line. He took a while with his shooting stance, just like his dad. His eyes were squinted because his face was so fat. It was honestly a wonder that this kid got around at all without bumping into anything. Bro, I feel bad making fun of the 9-year-old. Could we, not? Would that be okay? Yeah, he's kind of an asshole, but look who raised him. Now, I'm starting to get nervous, as is Cheryl, because he looks like and behaves as if he had never held a pistol before. Yeah, maybe it's time to go back inside. He finally settled, pulled the trigger, and all that happened was a puff of smoke from the pan. Possible hang fire. Now, this is something that you just accept when you get into shooting flintlocks. Our ancestors came to deal with it, so can we. Or we can go buy an AK-47. Instinctively, both Cheryl and I shout, "Hang fire! Cold range!" Now, when this happens, you're supposed to keep the gun pointed down range for at least 5 seconds, then slowly put the gun on the table, and wait another 10, and then either reprime and try again, or have the range safety officer come and help. Well, that's normally what's supposed to happen. He's gonna swing around, point a hot barrel towards a crowd of people. However, if we've learned anything about beards, nothing is normal with them, as well as in this case, their spawn. This little butterball beard in training, still holding on to the gun, turned around, facing towards all of us who were waiting. Yeah, he broke blue. I'm not even surprised by this, honestly. It was at that moment that the gun went off. Jesus! All of that happened within a matter of seconds. It ended up hitting one of our other shooters in the shoulder, very close to an artery. He hit the ground, and I went over to him and called out for someone to dial 911. Cheryl, meanwhile, went over to Beard Spawn and snatched the pistol out of his hand, to which he responded, Beard Spawn,
Hey, you can't take my gun! Dad!
I swear, when he shouted Dad, it sounded exactly like when Cartman shouts, So is he not concerned that he shot a person? Is he not sorry about any of that? Maybe he is worse than I thought. All right, he's only 9. He can't go against the wall, but we can't put the boots to him. After quickly assessing the nature of his wound, I remembered something very important. I then ran to my car, which I had moved to behind the shooting line at the outdoor range to make loading up to go home that much easier. I grabbed my first aid trauma kit. It's always good to have one of these in your car. And I started administering first aid as best I could. The wound was grisly. I don't know if any of you know what a soft lead ball does when it enters the human body, but I can tell you right now, it's not pretty. Yeah, that's not something I'd volunteer to experience at any point ever. I did my best to at least slow the bleeding. Range safety officer, who also had a first aid trauma training because he was a medic in the Marine Corps, took over for me while I went to go clean up. Range safety officer,
What the hell happened?
Flintlockbeard, having waddled his fat, disgusting ass over to protect his son, and also completely out of breath.
Yeah. What the hell happened?
Victim, your stupid kid shot me. What the hell have you been teaching him? Flintlockbeard,
Hey, you watch your mouth. I don't want to have to defend my son's or my family's honor. You wouldn't like that.
Victim, fuck your family honor, and fuck your stupid kid! He's got some harsh words. He's just been shot. I think he's entitled to say the harsh words. I definitely sort of regret going to bat for the kid. I mean, you're 9 years old, that gets you a lot of leeway, but you still know that it's not good to shoot people, right? That was about all Cheryl could take. And she had told range safety officer and club president, who was on the phone with 911, what had happened. By the way, Cheryl lost all of her cool and was yelling and sobbing at this point. Obviously, she had never seen anything like this. I don't think anyone besides range safety officer had ever seen anything like this. Yeah, war's hell. Except we're not in a war. I didn't think this was how I was going to spend my weekend. Cheryl said, Your son had a hang fire and didn't keep his gun pointed downrange. He turned around and the gun went off and now here we are. Flintlockbeard,
My son didn't do this on purpose. You must have distracted him somehow. Where were you, range safety officer? You should have been there to watch my son.
Yeah, it's the lifeguard's fault that your child drowned, right? It had nothing to do with your complete lack of instruction and or supervision. You're just a failure, not only as a father, but as a human being. Range safety officer,
I was at the same range you were at, you damn lard-ass dipshit.
I should probably mention that range safety officer also could not stand Flintlockbeard.
But it's little Sylvester Stallone. You're lucky the ball didn't cut an artery, or you'll be in more trouble than you know what to do with.
I mean, yes, it's an accident, but also you slaughtered a man. It's manslaughter! Surely we could still press some sort of civil or criminal charges, right? I bet Victim will, too. The paramedics arrived and they took Victim off to the hospital. It was at this time that my girlfriend had shown up, as her, myself, and Cheryl were all going out bowling afterwards. She told me earlier in the day that she'd show up, but she wasn't sure what time she was going to arrive. I had just gotten back from cleaning up. By the way, all of what was said and happened between when I left to clean up and get back was relayed to me verbatim by Cheryl later in the day. all of us who weren't Flintlockbeard, Beardspawn, and Club President were talking to each other as a group. Beardspawn, being Club President's nephew, was being talked to by him. Flintlockbeard was just standing there with the stupidest shit-faced look on himself. I'd started talking to Cheryl individually, away from the group, who had buried herself into my chest, tears and snot coming down her face. This incident had really gotten to her. Was she related to Victim in some way? I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. It shouldn't have happened, but it did happen. Losing your shit about it doesn't really help undo what's already been done.
Women.
Naomi, in a confused voice, "Hey babe, what just happened?" OP.
So, we had an incident. Flintlockbeard's kid accidentally shot one of our guys.
Naomi, "Oh my god, how did that happen?" I told her what happened, and the ball had really done a number on his shoulder, but thankfully missed the artery. Naomi, "Well, that's a relief." Cheryl then said she was going to go clean herself up and compose herself. She went back into the main clubhouse. I thought, by herself. Little did I know that Flintlockbeard had followed her in there. I hope she brought her gun with her. Shoot him in the gut for real. Leave him to die in the bathroom. About 5 minutes goes by when Cheryl comes out with a furious look on her face, grabbed her gear, and demanded that we all leave. We didn't end up going bowling. Instead, we went back to her apartment where she told us what had happened. Cheryl, "That fat, disgusting slob Flintlockbeard tried to comfort me. He tried to hug me and grope me. At first, I couldn't get out of it, but luckily I managed to free myself by kneeing him in the balls. I'm surprised they even dangle with how fucking fat he is. He just shouted at me through pain.
'You damn whore! Who are you to deny me my rightful conquest? Why can't you see I'm the only one who can provide for and protect you?'
Rightful conquest? This is some manifest destiny type of stuff? I don't know what's going on here. Naomi said, "Oh my god, Cheryl, you need to call the police and report him." Good idea. "Who knows what could have happened had you not managed to free yourself?" OP says,
I am so sorry that happened to you, and Naomi is right. You gotta report him.
Cheryl, "No, I just want to forget about it." That's the worst possible option. Naomi, "But Cheryl, I said no. I just want to forget about it. I don't want him coming down on me more than he's already tried." Naomi, "If not the police, could you at least report to the club president?" Cheryl, "That weak old fool? He won't do anything. One of the things that Flintlockbeard told me while you were on vacation, OP, is that he saw a club president cheating on his wife and threatened to expose him if he did anything to threaten his chances of taking over the club." Oh, the plot thickens. Naomi, "Is there anything we can do?" OP, "Don't you have a friend who has a dad that's a judge?" OP says,
I do, but he's under threat of being disbarred from being a judge because of inappropriate behavior with witnesses. We have to go the long way on this one.
"Is everybody in this story guilty of inappropriate behavior?" What is it about this swirling hellhole of a town that y'all live in? I was hoping to find some decent characters, somebody I could hang my hat on. Just not gonna happen. Not today, I guess. Cheryl, now visibly shaking, says, "I told you guys to drop it. Nothing's gonna get done, so why fight it?" Naomi and I just looked at each other, defeated. We didn't know what else we could do. We didn't want to go behind Cheryl's back, but we couldn't let this slide. We decided that we'd have to take care of this ourselves without involving Cheryl. "Vigilante justice, buy a lead pipe, put it to his face, vigilante justice." Cheryl, "I just can't stand that racist piece of shit. He was spouting off the same crap that he was spewing off to you earlier today to me while you were on vacation." Naomi, "Wait, what happened?" Cheryl and I explained, and Naomi was disgusted. I mean, I might be disgusted, but not exactly surprised, you know? It seems like in every reenactment group, you know what, never mind. Not gonna go there. Naomi, Cheryl, and I ordered a pizza and put on some Family Guy. When Naomi and I left Cheryl's apartment, we agreed that this had to stop. For the safety of all involved, and over the next few weeks, we would plot and scheme. Doesn't even really take any plotting excuse. Go hit him up with the Louisville Slugger. Tell him he's gonna drink through a straw for the rest of his goddamn life. Before we left, I apologized to Cheryl for leaving her alone while Flintlockbeard was still around. She forgave me, and we agreed to make sure to stick closer together. I was really surprised that she wanted to stay in the club. She loved it, despite Flintlockbeard and his son. I couldn't believe that I wanted to stay too, but now I was invested in trying to take Flintlockbeard down. So, now all we have to do is see just how dangerous this beard is, and how much of a danger his kid was as well. Anyways, that's gonna do it for part 3. I hope you've enjoyed yourself so far. I know some of this seems far-fetched, but this world has some dangerous beards in it. Just look at Wheezy Beard or Chris Trucker. You never know just how dangerous a beard can be until you incur his wrath. Be sure to keep your seatbelts buckled, as in part 4 comes desperation, lawsuits, attempted rape, and thankfully the downfall of Flintlockbeard. But believe me, it was a dangerous road to get there. So until then, ReddX gang, happy and safe shooting. Keep your powder dry, your eyes on the target and what's behind it. And as Mindy from the Animaniacs famously said,
Okay, I love you. Bye-bye.
one more part to go. I can only hope that it involves some physical violence, you know? Lawsuits are fine and all, but nothing says business like a shattered kneecap. If you'd like to see another story where the beards get into a little bit of a tiff, we got that old guitar beard saga. You can click on it right here. Always remember, friends, that you are loved, you are worthy, you definitely deserve it, and I shall see you in the next one. So until then, bye-bye.
It's only worth it if you work for it. I won't stop till they hear me now. I won't stop till I wear the crown.